Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So today we've got some new socket sets, and what we've got is the Quinn 48 piece 3/8 drive, SAE and metric, and it's both impacts that are shallow and deep, as well as the 61 piece Quinn 1/2 inch drive set. So I've also got these Pittsburgh socket organizers. And over here, I've got my US General toolbox, and we're going to put these in here and get it organized and see how we like it. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. We definitely appreciate it, and it helps the channel, and we invite you to subscribe to see more. Let's get into this US General toolbox. First of all, let's look at these blow molded cases that this comes in. This has got 4 latches on it. And once we open it up, we see all of our impact sockets. These are the 1/2 inch drive ones. And I'll tell you what, this is actually a pretty nice organizer. If you could maybe just take the lid off this might not be a bad way to store those. So that might be an option too. The 3/8 set just has 2 latches, but that's probably plenty. It's a lot smaller. But again, this is a nice organizational set. So there are no ratchets in these, but we've got the extensions and we've got some adapters. There's an impact swivel, that's pretty nice. And here are adapters to go bigger or smaller. Over here we've got the same thing, a 1/2 inch drive impact swivel. That's pretty dang nice. We've got some short extensions and some pretty long extensions. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so looking at our 1/2 inch drive, and let's go with our deep well 1¼ inch socket, which is right here. So that should be the tallest thing that we've got to fit in this drawer. So let's go see what kind of drawer we can use this. With our tallest socket in our tray, using our Pittsburgh Duralock tape measure, we are just over 3 inches. Looks like 3 1/8 tall. So let's go see where that fits into this general toolbox. Okay, and I've already got a bunch of stuff in this toolbox, but I can move things around. For these sockets, for my height, this is probably a good drawer for those to go in. But if we look at the drawer, that drawer is only 2 3/4 deep. So that's not going to get it. This would be the next best drawer. But all of these top drawers, these top 3, are all pretty short. They're right at 2 inches each. We go down to this drawer. Let's see what we got here. I've got these big sockets in here, but I could take those out. Okay, again, it's not going to be high enough. What is that? That's like 2 3/4. But if we go to this drawer's that same height. Finally, we get to this drawer, and this drawer would fit. This drawer is like 3 1/4. Let's see, actually 3 1/2 out to the front. Yeah, so 3 1/2 to the front. So it'll easily fit in this drawer. The only problem with that for me is this drawer is about the same height as my knee. So I'm not sure if this will be where these sockets end up forever and for always, but at least to start out, this is where we're going to put them. The nice thing is the way the Pittsburgh organizers are laid out, you can see these labels on the top. The other one are like those pin socket organizers, and they put the numbers right on the top, so that would work too, but I can see the sizes on these. So let's go ahead and put this together and put it in here and see what we got. In this tray, here are our short sockets, impact sockets that are 1/2 inch. So 1 1/8. Here's our oddball, 1 3/16. And here finally is our 1 1/4. Okay, so let's put these trays and these 2 spare sockets. Poor babies don't have a home. So 1 3/16 is pretty odd size, but I'll bet I'll run across use for it at some point. But Pittsburgh doesn't think I should. Let's go ahead and put our metrics together too, and we'll see if there's any weird things on it. So this time we'll start with a 10 deep, and on this set, that is the smallest. A lot of the first socket sets I had, they seemed like on the metrics, they either had the evens or they had the odds, which was weird because especially when it came to 12 and 13. But then what I was doing primarily was working on motorcycles, and what I found was the Japanese bikes all used 10s and 12s, but then like the European bikes, at the time I was messing with some KTMs, and they had 13s. So, okay, so on our deep wells, it's got all the sizes. We're missing a 23. We do have a 24, and then that's as large as it goes, although I've got some impacts. I don't know about 25. I know I've got an impact 27. But you know what? This might be a good place for our spare American sockets, or SAE sockets. Not really America. While I'm stacking these in here, the extensions, I'll just also put in the drawer with these, but not, obviously not in a spot, if I use these organizer trays, which again is another reason. So they skipped 23 in this set, which is kind of funny. Okay, so I am confirming it does skip 23, 24, 22, and 24. Now, I've seen a lot of things where people talk about it's a no skip set, but that's not quite entirely true. Oh well, they got most of them. Okay, so this is where I'm kind of debating if I should slide all of my halves together, or if I should keep like the SAE maybe here in the back, and then keep the metrics up here in the front. I think that's the way I'll do it. That way I don't have quite so many that are kind of looking the same together. And I will turn all these so that the labels point out. This is one of the reasons actually I bought this set. I've got all of these sockets and probably more. But a lot of my sockets, both impact and the regular old chrome ones, I can't read the names on them anymore, which a lot of them I know what they are and stuff, but it's kind of nice having visible labels on stuff. And these Pittsburgh organizer trays, they do come with the 1/4 inch for the metric and the SAE in the set, but the sets I bought don't have any 1/4 inch sockets. And honestly, like I said, I don't think you would need a 1/4 inch impact, or at least nothing I've ever used would have that that need. Okay, and I'll go ahead and load up my 3/8. We'll see how close they come to filling this organizer. So it looks like the biggest SAE one is 3/4. So I could cut quite a bit of this tray off, looks like. So 3/4, 11/16. Half inch, 7/16, 3/8, 5/16, and again, I've got an extra pin for a 1/4 inch. And so let's go ahead and start here in the metrics. So I've got a 6 and a 7, but the first socket I've got is an 8. Let's check the, yep, even in the shorts. That's what I've got. So it starts at 8. And where's the smallest? I've got a 5/16 SAE. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit, there's going to be more holes than I've got tools on this organizer tray. And honestly, that's kind of one more argument for just cutting the lid off this and using these boxes as my organizers. Because in the plastic ones that came in, everything's got a spot and every spot is filled. I kind of like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put all these in and I'll show it to you in the box. All right, so I ran into another issue. So these are the SAE sockets and they all fit in this organizer tray really well. You can see there are no skipped spots. Now it started larger than what this organizer has. So basically there's a 1/4 inch that we've got slots for 1/4 inch, but we don't have any 1/4 inch size sockets. And then it ends at 3/4 the largest it has. So 13/16 up, there's no sockets. But now look at this. And this is a little bit disappointing, I think. So again, we've got a 6 and a 7 that we don't have sockets for. But if I put the 8 in there, because these are impact sockets, they didn't leave enough space between their little things to end up accommodating these impact sockets, were just a little thicker than what a standard socket would be. So I've got the 8 in, I've got the 12 in, but the 9, 10, and 11, I can't make them go in there because the sockets themselves are larger than the space that's in there. And then on the deep wells, the 10 I have kind of in there, but it's not really. The 11 doesn't fit. If I pull the 11 out, the 12 will drop in. But so from 10 all the way up, we'll call the 14 fits. But so again, we've got 3 sockets on the bottom row that won't fit into the tool holder, and we've got 4 on the top row. So something to think about. These may not be the best organizers, which these are the Pittsburgh organizers. Okay, with all the sockets put in the organizers that I've got, so I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 extra fittings here in the 3/8 set. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 1/2 inch drive set. So I'm gonna just put these in the box. The problem with putting these in a spot where there's not actually something designated for it is if somebody doesn't put one back, because there's not a space for it, it'll be harder to know that you're missing something. So just from an accountability standpoint, I think maybe cutting the lid off that box might be the way to go. Okay, and there's the 3/8 extra pieces. Like I'll stand up all the small adapters that I've got. So here's one. And then we'll leave the extensions there. Now, what I need to make this complete is a 3/8 drive ratchet and also a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. And I've got plenty of those, so I'm just gonna grab a couple that I've got and put them in here. Okay, so these are both Craftsman, but this is a 1/2 inch drive ratchet and a 3/8 drive ratchet. And they go in the drawer shuts. Not too bad. So one of the things that's weird though, or whatever, that's not perfect, and I'll have to decide if I want to live with it or not. I'm starting to think not. Anyway, is I've got my 9, 10, and 11 here that won't fit in the organizer tray, and I've got my 10 through 13 here that also don't fit in the organizer tray. Over here, where it says 27, this is actually 1 3/16 inches, which we don't have a spot for back here. So I can probably deal with that. What I've learned over the years is the more things that are just end up thrown in this drawer that don't have a spot, the less useful this becomes. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here is my old socket drawer. And again, most of these are not impacts. I do have some impacts back here. But, I mean, every time I've run across something that I found useful, there's a 1/4 inch drive ratchet. Here's a Torx wrench. But, right, I mean, once this thing starts getting just kind of jumbled up, this just needs to be thrown away. You know, it ends up becoming less and less useful. There's a flat flakes coupler I had to change out. So, I mean, yes, is it my fault that this is like this? Yes. But, like I said, it's why I'm starting to think I want everything to have its own spot. So, let's go look at this again. Okay, so what we found out, these Pittsburgh organizer trays, I mean, they're pretty nice, but for the impact sockets, the Quinn impact sockets, for some reason, just the metric side, they didn't leave enough space on the 3/8 tray to get all of the sockets in there. The SAE side worked fine, so that's kind of weird. There's a hinge here, and let's see if we can just drive that pin out of that hinge. Oh yeah. So it's going to drive right out. Have to get my punch out of there. Now I should be able to get probably a vice grips and pull it the rest of the way out. Maggie's here helping me film now, so it's going to make a lot better video, I'm sure, from this point forward. But we'll pull that pin out, and then I'll do the same thing with the second hinge, and we'll find us a drawer in one of these toolboxes to use this as the organizer. Okay, and I'm sure it doesn't take a 2-pound hammer to knock this pin out, but that's the first one I found. Okay, take my vice grips. Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, so I'll undo the 4 latches. And we don't need the top anymore. Let's see how this will fit in. Unfortunately, it won't fit in this toolbox. But let's go to the big toolbox. So that would fit right in this drawer, and then this drawer, I have to empty that out. But I've got 2 drawers here I could put it in, or I can take this drawer apart and put them up here. What if I can get both those in there? I do this assembly line style. So these boxes come apart pretty easy, and I'll tell you what, I think they are a pretty efficient storage solution. Tighten down my vice grips. All right. All right, let's go see if we can get this in next to that other one. All right, what I was thinking was maybe I could put this one this way. I don't think it's going to quite fit. I wonder if I just shave it down, because it would, otherwise it would fit. All right, well, the first thing I need to do is empty my old sets out of here, and then we'll figure out how to get this new one in. The problem with this set is I've got some really good sockets in here, and I've got some absolute trash sockets in here. But I'm gonna pull all these out and start fresh with a new set. I really think those Quinn sockets, everything I've used so far at Quinn, have held up really well and been real high quality, and they're a lifetime warranty on them, so I don't see the downside. Okay, and these type of socket organizers, the problem I've got with this, I've got several of these that are broken off because some of these sockets don't quite fit in them quite right, which I don't understand, but it's been my experience. Of course, these things are probably 15 years old at this point too, so it's not like they broke the day I put them in here. And then every once in a while, I'd end up with like these random, these are Craftsman, but they're all a 12-point set. Very rarely they'll come in handy, but mostly they're just annoying. Look at these set. I'm not sure what, they're Craftsman, but I'm not sure what the rationale with that was. I never really found a use for them, but this is a metric set. This is supposed to be an 18. Never really tried it out, so I can't badmouth it a whole lot, but just a weird set. Yeah, I guess my flat face couplers, I don't necessarily need to have in here.
You maybe could put those with the farm stuff.
I guarantee it was hot when I was messing with them.
Yeah.
And I just threw those couplers that I took off to switch to the ag style in here. Okay, now some of this stuff will go back in my sets. None of these sockets. So here's something that, these are spark plug sockets, and no organizers that I've ever found have a spot for those. All right, so we've emptied out my old socket drawer. And there's some stuff in here that obviously we're gonna keep. Like here's a 30mm socket that's 1/2" drive that I had to buy for something specific. And I don't even know what it was, but that's gonna go back in the box. But like I said, we're gonna go through that later. But for now, we're gonna take our Quinn organizer that came in, and I think I'll hold it this way. Okay, to be able to do everything, go this way, and I'll slide it to the front of the drawer. I might stick something back there. And I wish this is just a little bit from being able to go in there. So we'll put this one down here. And I guess actually, thinking about it, it might be better to do it this way with 2 drawers, because what we'll do is we'll have all of our 1/2" stuff up here, and that'll give us room for all of our other extensions and adapters that we've got, and also the ratchets and drive things for 1/2". And down here will be the same thing in 3/8. So I'm gonna go back, and after we took all these tools out of these boxes, we're gonna put them right back in. All right, and the good thing about, you know, putting them back in here is every one of these has a spot, and every spot's full, unlike these generic Pittsburgh organizers, and they all fit, unlike these. So let's see, 19, so right there. And I will lay these where I can see them going up too. That'll help. All right, so we will be right back with you. Okay, so I just put some of the 3/8 ratchets and extensions and stuff that I want from that pile in here as well. So right off the bat, I'm gonna put, this is one of the better ratchets that I've got. It's a Craftsman, but it's kind of a, I don't know, it's a copy of a better ratchet. And these things, these speed handles come in real handy too, so I'll add one of those. And like I said, I'll go through here later and make sure I've got all my sizes that I want, but for the most part, that's gonna do it. Let's move to the 1/2". Okay, I'll start with all the little extras. So that's this one.
Just make sure the little ball bearings are up.
Well, just, if you do that, also the label's up. Which I didn't know, I just happened to see.
So you're saying it has nothing to do with which way the ball bearing points?
No, it doesn't really.
I think you turn this one around.
Ah, there we go. I knew it fit in there better than that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so these will probably loosen up. And I'll be glad if they do, as long as it doesn't tear up the blow molded plastic. So transplanting these. Now these are that 1 3/16", which was weird. It's right there. Now the rest of these are going to be metric. Put this 1 3/16" where it goes to. 1 1/4", 1 3/16". Okay, so now we're at 24mm. Right there. Now it'll be a lot quicker to put these in. And I am pretty certain I've got a 23mm in that pile on the table. And we've been talking about, we're going to take a silver Sharpie and kind of highlight these letters because they don't show up that well out in this garage, especially against all this black background with this toolbox. So actually, with this set, which we'll get to the price in a minute, because I've got to look it up. I don't remember exactly what they were. But anyway, the fact that it has a pretty good organizer, if you just take the lid off that box, I mean, these were $20 and they're not as useful as what the box that came with was. So pretty nice. We've got our 1/2" drawer set up, and some of the things I kept, this is probably one of my better Craftsman ratchets. I kept, because these impact socket extensions are the just regular square end. These are the wobble ones. And you can see I've used this quite a bit already. I'm gonna keep my wobble ones in here also. And then this set tops out on the metrics. Yeah, 24.
Oh, 24.
So with 24, I've got a 27 here and a 30. So I'll keep these in here. And then this is, it's our socket that enables us to take the special lug nuts off the Polaris General we've got. So I'll keep it in here as well. All right, when I got to my breaker bars, this one's a lot less beat up and actually probably what I use more lately. It's just a hair longer than this one. But the reason I'm going to keep this one is this is a SK Tools. And my grandfather had a hardware store, and SK was the line of tools that they sold there. And these were a good tool back in the day and just kind of nostalgic for me. So from Community Hardware to my Harbor Freight tools in my Craftsman box, we're keeping it. Going through my stuff, I found another large metric socket that's 1/2-inch drive that isn't in that set. It's a 32, and this one is a PM chrome vanadium, so made in Taiwan. I heard the Taiwanese sockets are really good. I like that this is so much cleaner, and like I said, it will be easy to see at a glance if something's not in here. So it's going to help us stay organized, have a little more tool accountability right off the bat. So we like it. We're going to use these over the next several months, and we'll give you an in-depth review. Our 1/2-inch sockets are Quinn 1/2-inch drive, SE, and metric master impact socket set, 61 piece. Its regular price is $179. We've got the 4th of July sale going on right now, so we've got it for 20% off. And then go down here to our 3/8 impact socket set from Quinn, and it's 3/8 drive, SAE, and metric, 48 piece. It's $89, $89.99 right now. And we went to the next Harbor Freight over, which is not just but a few miles from the first one, and we got it for 20% off as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you liked it. If you got something out of this video, definitely subscribe to see more. Have a great day and be safe.